Okay, in today's video, I'm going to show you how to make title screens for your cartoons using your favorite paint program and combine that with OpenToonz. So let's go ahead and get started. So what we're going to do is bring in JPEG images into different columns. We're going to offset the columns and then create a transparency effects node to fade into each title screen. And then what I'd recommend is saving that off as like an MP4 and bringing that into a video editing software like DaVinci Resolve and editing it together. You could also just bring in your JPEGs into DaVinci Resolve if you're familiar with that program and just offset them and add transitions in there. But this video I'm going to show you how to do it in OpenToonz, and I created my JPEGs in Krita. So I'm going to bring those in first. I have 3 JPEGs and I'm just going to click my first one right here. Just click, hold down the mouse, and I'm going to drag it into OpenToonz, okay? And let go. And let's go back to OpenToonz. Now this scene that I set up, I just used the default settings. And in Krita, this JPEG is 1920 by 1080, I believe. Either way, we need to scale it up. So let's go up here to the Animate tool and go over here to Scale. And we're going to scale this up right to where it fits on the canvas, okay? And you notice it put it in column 1. So I'm going to rename column 1 to title 01. Okay, so now let's go to column 2. We'll just click in this blank square and go back to our images. And let's pick the second one, second JPEG, and just drag it in and drop. And we're going to scale that up. And just make sure it's on column 2 over here, okay? And we'll call this title 2, title 02. Now let's go to column 3 and go back to our images and get the third one right here. Drag it over and drop it. We're going to scale that up. Okay. Okay, so now we have all 3 of our images in OpenToonz. Okay. So what we're going to do is go over here and we're going to extend these down as long as we want to hold them. So I think I want to hold them. So we'll do each one 4 seconds. So 4 times 24, we're going to have to do some math here. It's 96 frames. Okay. And so the plan is we'll hold each one for 3 seconds and the transition will be over 24 frames. Okay. So I have a hotkey set for W, which is insert frame. Okay, so let's go to our X sheet and hit W, insert frame, all the way down. And we're just extending all 3 of these images down to 96. Okay, so now we're going to offset them by 24 frames. Okay, so 96 minus 24. Let's get our calculator. 96 minus 24. I know you got into animation not to do math, and here we are doing math. Okay, 72. There's actually a lot of math in animation. Okay, so 72. So let's go to our second column and click on the sidebar to select all of our frames, and we're going to move this down to 72. Okay, right here. Okay, so now let's figure out the third column. So the second column goes down to 167. So 167 minus 24. Oops. 167 minus 24 equals 143. So let's move the next column down to 143. Okay, 143 is right there. Okay, so this will give us 1 second for the transition, okay? And our whole animation, or our whole title screens will be 238 frames. So now let's switch over to another room, and we're just going to use the default animation room up here. So let's click that, and it's set up to have everything we need in it. And you can customize these rooms however you want. The main things we need are the function editor and the effects schematic. Okay, and if you don't see the effects schematic, you can go down here to the very bottom right hand corner to this toggle effects stage schematic and click it, and it will toggle between the stage and the effects. Okay, so I'm gonna move these up a little so we can see them. Okay, and each one of these nodes is a column. See, it says title 1, title 2, title 3, and they're going to the X sheet and the X sheet to the output. Okay, so let's just scoot these over. It doesn't really matter where they're at in here, but I just like to organize it from top to bottom. So title 1, title 2, title 3. Okay, so the first column we're going to work with is column 2, this title 2. So at frame 72, we want title 2 column at 100% transparency. Okay, so somewhere in this effects schematic view, right click, we're going to go to, I'm going to do it up here a little, add effects, and we're going to go to layer blending transparency. Okay, it's at the very bottom down here under subtract. And we're going to drag it right beside title 2. So now we're going to click this little triangle and click and hold down and drag it to the source on transparency. So this will tell title 2, yeah, we want it to go to transparency, and then we need to get it back to the X sheet. So click this little triangle and just drag it back, and this will link it up. So now we need to tell OpenToonz when to go to full transparency and when to go to full opacity, to full opaqueness, I guess is how you'd say it. So if we click on the effects and come over here, you're going to see these folders, and you're going to see one called effects and transparency. So we're going to click on that, intensity, and over here on the left, what did we say our first frame was? 72. Okay, so we want to find this column that says transparency intensity. Okay, and we want to go to that little cell and right click and set key, and we're going to double click it and type in 100, and this will set the transparency at 100%. Okay, so we won't see this column at frame 72, and then we want to see it at frame 96. So let's go down to 96, right click, set key, and we're going to change this to, we're going to double click that and hit 0, and you'll see it change over all of these frames from 100, 95, 87, and it's going to fade up into this second column. Okay, so if we go up here to the top and click this little eyeball preview, that will let us see the effects when we scrub through our timeline. Okay, do you see that? It fades out of the first column and into the second column. And so now we're going to go over and do that for the column 3. So let's, over here, let's scroll down, and at 143, well, let's set up our effect first. So over here, right click, add effects, layer blending, transparency, down here at the bottom. We're going to move it down below column 3, or kind of right next to it. We're going to link it up. And see how it left this other line? We need to get rid of that. So click on it and hit delete. No, that will get rid of that link. Okay. So let's click on transparency. Come over here and go to the effects folder. And we can minimize transparency 1. That's for the second column. And let's go to the intensity on transparency 2. And go over here to the left, frame 43. We'll go to this cell right here, right click, set key, and we want it transparent 100%. And we want to see it at 167. So let's go over here, find 167, right click, set key, double click, hit 0. And now when we scrub through, it takes a little bit of processing power to add these effects. So just be patient and slowly scrub through just to make sure it's working. See how it has to catch up? There it goes. And that's our ending title screen, okay? And I always go up here to XSheet, Scene Settings, and make sure this is enabled. Enable column color filter and transparency for rendering. I'm not sure if that really makes a difference, but I check it anyway. And now we can go to render, fast render to MP4, and give it a second. Okay, so let's minimize OpenToonz and go to our desktop. That's where it puts mine. And let's open it up and see how it looks. Okay, let's hit play and make sure it's on loop. And there's it fades into our second title screen, and there's our third title screen. That's pretty much it. So I hope this helped, and if you have any questions, feel free to email me or message me. And until next time, happy animating, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.